Welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we learned how join works in SQL. Today, we are diving deeper into the four major types of joins: the inner join, left join, right join, and full outer join, using two example tables, customer and payment. So let's get started. Let's first take a look at our two tables, customer and payment. As you can see, the common columns between both tables is customer ID, which we will use to join the data. Let's start with the most commonly used join, the inner join. This join returns only the records that have matching values in both tables. Let's say we will get the customer ID and first name from our customer table and payment date from our payment table. I will add the column names later. So we are basically selecting data from customer table, and then we are going to make a link to the payment table using our join clause. We are going to use the inner join. We'll be joining this customer table with this payment table on customer ID, that is the customer ID column from customer table. Which equals to customer ID on our payment table. So we'll write payment.customer ID. We're using this table name to specify that this column is from the customer table and this customer ID is from this payment table. So now that we have joined our table, let's select our columns. We can also actually use aliases here so that we don't have to write the whole table name. So let's say customer as C and payment as P. So instead of writing the customer, we will use C to represent the customer table, and we will use P to represent the payment table. So we will select customer ID and first name from our customer table. So C dot customer ID. Then we will get the first name. And now we will get the amount and payment date from our payment table. So we will use P dot amount and then P dot payment date. So let's execute this command. As you can see that it has returned all customer informations like the customer ID and first name from the customer table and amount and payment date from the payment table. That has common customer ID in between those two tables. So if a customer has made at least one payment, they will appear in this result. But if they haven't made any payment, they won't show up here. Now let's take a look at the left join. The left join will return all records from the left table, that is our customer table, and matched record from the right table, that is the payment table. If there's no match, payment column will show null value. Okay, so let's modify our SQL statement. We'll get all of this column, so let's keep it as it is, and instead of using inner join, we will use left join. And the condition is also the same, so let's execute it. As for our data, we can't see it here, that is, we can't see any null value in the columns that are from the payment table, as we have a lot of data. So let's sort our output so that the customer who didn't make any payment are at the top. We can do this by actually sorting the result. order by. Let's sort this data based on the amount column from the payment table. As if the customer didn't make any payment, there won't be any amount. So we can order our table based on that. So let's use p.amount. Okay, so we can use this, or we can also say that is not null. That will also give us the null column at the top. As when we sort the null values, it shows the null value at the top when using in ascending order. So we can see that this customer didn't make any payment. We can also just filter the data to see only the customer who didn't make any payment. So instead of sorting it, we will filter the data by saying where payment amount is null. So it will give us only the customers who didn't make any payment. That is, this column is null. So execute it. Yeah, so it has returned only those three records. So now that we know how left join work, let's see how right join works. So we will keep the column names as it is, and we'll change the left join with right join. So the condition is the same, like make the join based on customer ID, and we will remove this filter clause. So let's execute it. Okay, so what right join does is that it returns all records from right table, that is from our payment table, and matched records from the left table, that is customer table. So, and if there's no customer that exists in our payment table, the customer field will be null, that is first name will be null. But we can't see it here as we have lots of data. So let's sort our output to see whether there's any customer who made at least one payment but doesn't exist on the customer table. So to do that, let's just filter our data where the first name is null. If the customer doesn't exist, so the first name should be null. So let's filter it based on that condition. Okay, so this should give us all the records where the customer's first name is null. Okay, so as we can see that there's no customer that made a payment but doesn't exist in our customer table. So that's why it didn't return any record. So now let's see how full outer join works. The full outer join actually returns all records from both tables. Where there is a match, it combines them like the inner join, and where there isn't, it fills it with null values like what we have seen in the left and right join. So let's change our SQL query. Instead of the right join, we will be using the full outer join, and the condition is the same. So keep it as it is, and let's remove the where clause. Let's just first comment it out. We might use it later. So we already know that from our previous examples for the left and right join, we can see that there isn't any customer that made payments but doesn't exist in our customer table. But there's 3 customers who didn't make any payment. We will have to filter this data or sort this in order to see that. So as we did in our left join, let's sort our data where the payment is not null. As we are using the descending order, the null values in the amount, that record will show at the top. So let's execute it. Sorry, it should be P as I am using aliases. So let's execute it. So we can see that it shows that correctly when there's no payment for the customer in the payment table. But we can also filter this data. Let's remove our order by clause to see if there's any customer who made payment but doesn't exist in our database. So we can see that there's no customer that made payment but doesn't exist in our customer table. That's it for today. So let's do a quick recap on what we have learned. We have seen how inner join works, how left join works, and how right join works. Inner join only returns the matched records, left join only returns all records from the left and matched records from the right. And similarly, right join returns all records from the right but matched record from the left. And full outer join actually returns everything from both tables, whether it matches or not. Each of these join serves different purpose depending on the question you are asking from the data. So use it based on what is your requirement. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss more SQL and data tutorials. And if you have any question, drop it in the comment below. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.